Thanks for tuning in. This is S. Patrick Brooks from the Heavy Underground Farm Report. Today I've got Colin Peterson from Shadow of Jupiter. We're going to talk about RippleFest coming up. We're going to talk about their new 7-inch that comes out today. So, man, fucking rock on. Tune in right now. Here we go. Yeah! Hey, this is S. Patrick Brooks here with the Heavy Underground Farm Report. And I'm super stoked to have Colin Peterson from Shadow of Jupiter joining me today. We're going to talk about a whole bunch of stuff. We've got Colin's got lots of stuff going on. We want to talk to him about that. So, Colin, first of all, thanks for joining me. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, man, and thanks for firing this channel up. It's cool. It's cool. You're doing some really great stuff, and man, you're catching a lot of people's attention, and cool. And it's great for the community, man.
Well, right on. And that's what I want to keep it all about. You guys, I love this music, and really, I just want more people to hear it and appreciate it. So, you guys are part of that. I love your band. I'm pretty new to following your band over the last few months. I loved the last album that you put out. I enjoyed the lyrical content as well as the music, but you have something new coming out. So tell me about what you have new coming out, because I know it's super exciting.
Yeah, so we've been fortunate. We just celebrated the 1-year anniversary release of Porticelli. That's the pronunciation. Porticelli's a year old, and we've gotten a lot of mileage on that,
It's fantastic.
But we've been writing some songs, and friend of ours, Josh from Pure Pilot, Josh Hunter, he's known in the community. It's amazing the people that he knows and the acts that come stay at his place and vice versa when he's traveling the world. So he had us at his place. He's got a studio, and he recorded us playing a couple songs. And we thought, Raven from Porticelli is super heavy, not super long, not super short, cool vibe. And then we threw a new one out there, and it's called Whatever God You Fear. And that we're super proud of. It's a banger of a tune. It's not slow and sludgy.
You guys,
high horsepower.
You guys really move seamlessly through from one kind of subgenre from the other. Sometimes you're doomy. Sometimes you guys have a really heavy psych bluesy sound.
Yep. Yes, you do.
Tell me, where do your influences come and from those different sounds? I mean, short list. I know, because I imagine it could be.
Yeah, I think we're right around the same age. So John and I are 55.
Yeah, 57.
And God. So John and I were roommates in college. Late 80s.
So tell me, how much Cream did you guys listen to? I hear some Cream in there. You talk about Robin Trower as well.
You're hitting everything on the head. So John lived a few doors down from me on the floor, and I was aware of him. He's a long-haired guy, but we just sort of kept to ourselves.
Sure.
And all of a sudden I hear Led Zeppelin 3 playing, and I'm the biggest Led Zeppelin fan in the world. I'm like, all right, I just found my soulmate in college.
Right on.
And I went down and introduced myself, and we've been best friends ever since. So anyways, man, John's got a really cool history, and he's a show all in and of himself, because John is one of the pioneers of Chicago death metal. In the early 80s, he was in a band called Terminal Death, and Sean Glass was a member of that band, and Sean went on to be a member of Soil, and now he's in Repentance, and he's one of these guys who's been in the metal scene forever. Everybody in the metal scene knows Sean Glass.
Okay, excellent. Well, how does that influence your band?
Well, so John, it's so weird, because John, he's like, man, it needs to be heavy, but John is also his favorite vocalist is James Dewar from Robin Trower Band,
Okay,
the original
yeah.
Robin Trower Band.
Uh-huh.
Jack Bruce, he sings like Jack Bruce. Jimi Hendrix,
For
he
sure.
sounds just like Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah.
But then he's also into like Minor Threat and Voivod and Celtic Frost.
Cool. I'm glad you mentioned like some punk rock in there. His
Yes.
lyrical, so John's lyrical content. And I don't expect you to speak for John, but John's lyrical content is very punk rock to me, very politically and or maybe religiously conscious type vocals. And
you're hitting John. That's exactly John. And John is very John, I think, has either a literature or an English degree.
Yeah, it shows.
Very well read, and
He's
to get in an argument with him is pointless because he will they talk the word salad is the thing nowadays.
Okay.
He doesn't do that. He is on point and just it's like, man, I would hate to be his kid. So anyway, get back to the point. Going to the whole punk rock thing. I heard you saying that you dug where it's sort of into punk rock.
Yeah, that's how I grew up in the punk rock, the Clash,
right.
and
so
stuff.
John's he's into all this stuff, and he will still wear his suspenders at our live shows as a nod to his hardcore days.
That's cool.
Yeah. So, he was in a death metal band. Then they were awesome, and they had a label, and they have a vinyl out, and it was reissued several years ago. He's just an amazing human being, an amazing vocalist.
Yes, he is. Very impressive.
We bring the bluesy, soulful good, when you show up to a Black Sabbath concert and then you hear like a Paul Rogers guy, it's like, hey, that interests me. And so our whole thing when we started writing was like, what would happen if Robin Trower jammed with Black Sabbath?
I love it.
And we've got the swirly bluesy guitars, but the heavy meat, so.
Your guitar playing is absolutely fantastic as well. Certainly, I think next level compared to, I'm not that I want to compare to a lot of other bands, but your guitar playing is advanced. I enjoy listening to you. Where you had a track on the last album, and sorry I don't have it right in front of me. I didn't plan on asking you this question. Very earthlessly sounding, repetitive rhythm section with you just ripping all over it.
Yeah,
you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So hang on, I got it in front of me here. I'll find it. We'll edit this little slow part out here. A bridge of Sighs, I think, is the song that I'm referring to. Yeah,
so Bridge of Sighs is a Trower, our tribute to Trower. That's the Robin Trower song that we released for 420. And actually, it was very weird how that transpired because we were recording Porticelli, and we were all doing, I can't remember which song we were playing, but we were prepared to play a song live. And so we were all plugged in and doing a sound check, and I just started rattling off the beginning of Bridge of Sighs, and
it's a groove,
we've
man.
done that song before, it just so many times, and the engineer hit record, and what you hear was the first live take. I mean, there's
amazing.
No overdubs, nothing. Yeah, so that was and we're like, well, what are we going to do with this? I was like, well, we'll just take the file and I'll just put it out for 420. Which, ironically, man, so the coincidence of coincidences, 420 was when the Robin Trower Bridge of Sighs album was first released in like 73. So it was 74 because it was on the 49-year anniversary of Bridge of Sighs. And I was like, you got to be freaking kidding me. What a coincidence. But I'm going to pretend like I know that that's what it was.
There's no coincidences, man.
That's right. Yeah, the universe threw that at me, and I'm gonna claim that as my perfect knowledge.
That's fantastic. I love that.
Thanks, man. Yeah, we were ripping on that, and dude, Earthless. We love Earthless. We love Earthless.
Earthless is really was my gateway drug into this a lot deeper. I have a background in Caius and the Melvins and stuff, but
for sure.
Earthless was like, that's when I started hitting people who like Earthless and then I just started going down the rabbit hole. So which led me to wonderful things. Well, tell me, so Colin, when you and John write songs, I know that you do the music and John does the lyrics. How do you collaborate?
Mm-hmm.
How does that process work between the two of you?
Oh gosh. Well, I mean, some of the stuff was done back in the day. I mean, like literally decades ago. Their Few Size Majesty is probably from 1991.
Oh wow. Okay.
So that was done in a rehearsal space. But generally, I will send John riffs. I record them on my phone, send them to him, and he'll be like, "Hey, can you send me 2 minutes of that with try changing something up for the chorus?" And then
that's amazing.
Okay, how's this? Yeah, and we go back and forth, and then we get together at rehearsal. We knock it out, and Scott and Adam have been amazing in saying, "Hey, how about we try this, or let's slow it down, or speed it up, or
right on,
or hey, let's add that other riff into this."
So it's an active band process. So it's not just one guy or just you guys, but the whole band's together.
Yeah, and I think it's important to note too. Porticelli was essentially just going to be like John and I getting together after COVID. He's like, "Hey man, we're not getting any younger." We weren't in a band together at the time.
Okay,
so,
really?
Man, we've got all these old riffs. We've got all these old riffs that we used to write, and maybe do you think if we can get together and maybe just go to a recording studio and knock these out, and it'll be our like audio epitaph? I was like, hell yeah. And then he buys me this Does It Doom Walpurgis pedal. He just drops it off. I'm like, dude, man, you got to stop this, because it wasn't 2 weeks later. I'm in his basement. We're writing Daisy Cutter and all this other stuff. We just have loads of riffs, and we have been. I mean, we've probably got 70 something riffs now. So, anyways, the album started out as he and I recording in my brother-in-law's studio, and my brother-in-law laying down bass and drums. And then it wasn't going to be a big deal. And then I started sharing it online, and then it got picked up. And then Fraser Jones and John Gist and Scott from Clean and Sober Stoner are writing about it. And I'm like, oh, fuck, what did we get ourselves into? So we got a band, and Adam, and Scott played with John and I for years. Scott's been my best friend, grew up across the street from me ever since we were little guys. And Adam's been playing in my cover band for, probably close to 10 years now.
Damn, Colin, that's like an incredible story. That, like, what I like about the scene is that if you want to do it, you could just do it. And, you guys are the epitome of that. That story means so much to me. That's such a punk rock story. That's like, hey, man.
It is. It's, it was like a do-it-yourself, and then it sort of just formed into something, turned a few heads, and then, we're in.
Like, your album, when I talk to people, is a very well-known album, and it's a reference point, in a lot of ways, for the heavy Chicago scene.
Right.
Tell me, man, so you guys accidentally formed a band, purposely cut a kick-ass album though, and now you're going to be at RippleFest. So man, like you're gonna release an album at RippleFest. So I want to talk a little bit more about that and what this album means to you, and then I want to talk about. Then just tell me what being invited to be part of the lineup at RippleFest, leading off what may, like, I'm not trying to. This isn't hyperbole. This may be the best lineup of stoner rock bands that there has ever been in one day. I think you could make that argument. And you guys are leading it off. So let's talk about it.
Yeah. So, man, it's, God, where to start? I mean, I started reaching out to.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry to interrupt.
Yeah. So let's go down that rabbit hole here.
Yeah.
I connected with High Desert Queen. They other than Morgan, Rusty's daughter is the bass player. We are almost like they have. I mean, they're better. Let's just cut the bullshit.
They're a great band.
But they're great. They're such a great band.
Yes.
They're so great. And Garney is. We all owe him a lot.
Yes.
For what he's done for this genre. His band is amazing. And he's just a cheerleader for the genre does so much.
I can't wait to meet this guy. Yeah, for sure.
Me too. So Rusty, we became friends on social media, and he's putting up old stuff like the 80s shred guitar player guys and him meeting them. And I'm like, dude, totally met George Lynch from Dokken. I'm totally into this. I'm totally into that. And he's like, oh yeah, this, that, and the other. We had the same Flying V guitar, and we just, throwing stuff at each other. Hey man, did you check this out? Yeah. And so I would send him songs as our album was being recorded, and he was digging it. And, and then I think sort of by osmosis, I became not quite as close with Ryan, but, Ryan kind of welcomed me into the discussion. And High Desert Queen are just, they're amazing and similar to us.
Yeah, I agree.
Not super doomy, very bluesy. Rusty's got that, I could go sit in with Rusty right now, and we could do some cool stuff.
You guys are the kind of band.
Bluesy with a little.
You guys are the kind of bands that I can put on to my friends who like heavy rock but aren't aware of the scene, and they're like, "Oh hell yeah, who Is this? They might get is this Led Zeppelin?"
Yeah,
kind of reference. Yeah, I love that about those bands. But you guys, have that modern, extra fuzzy deliciousness that I love. So
the gooey drippy stuff. Yeah. So I think guys like us or bands like us and High Desert Queen and like Blue Heron, a lot of these other bands have Baracho. I was listening to Baracho today. Oh, man. So right.
I saw Baracho last
so we're
year,
just like
or earlier. Yeah, they're fucking great.
Yeah,
I love
God,
Baracho.
they're so amazing.
Yeah,
so amazing. I'm looking at Freedom Hawk, Formula 400, all these bands that are like, we're rock bands, Sasquatch.
Yes, rock bands.
We're just south, we're heavy, but we're just south of Rival Sons. When Rival Sons does the Zeppelin thing and the heavy, that stuff is accessible. It could get radio play, and that's a whole other.
Man, we could spend. We can spend some time with that. We'll talk about that at RippleFest, perhaps, and we'll,
Yeah, we should.
I think that's something that I want to talk to a lot of bands and the promoters about too. And what a difficult situation. When I talk to people, the big, and it's like I look around at the show and I have 200, there's 200 to 300 people there. And I think, man, there should be 1,000 people here for this band. I think that the thing that's preventing that is that nobody's heard even one song by these fantastic bands, and people are just not willing to take a chance and see a band that they haven't heard before. I mean, not people like us, but people who would still like this music but are kind of trapped.
For sure. You and your show with Gist was dead nuts on. You guys,
John understands.
Basically, I think I would say if I had to, get it down to one answer, everybody's living in a snapshot. If I wasn't a musician, you guys talked about, I think somebody was talking about Led Zeppelin. It had a break from Led Zeppelin for 10 years.
Yeah,
They're my favorite band. I got a Led Zeppelin tattoo. I will, everything Jimmy Page does is the greatest thing in the world to me. But it's like, okay, man, I got to give it a break. There's so much great music out there.
Yep.
Rock is like John's show. Rock is not dead.
No, it isn't.
You just got to find it, and it's hiding in plain sight. These people could find it.
Exactly.
My whole thing is, I don't know. Maybe everybody needs to kick in a few bucks and maybe get in on an XM channel.
Yeah.
Finally get like a stoner doom XM channel, and maybe it'll legitimize the genre.
I think,
or maybe
I think something go ahead.
Just
I'm sorry.
Stay in the underground. Or stay in the underground.
So that's exactly where I was going to go. So there's a lot of, I don't know, mixed emotions about gatekeeping and having music become bigger. And I think it's as a fan, there's certain selfishness on maybe my part to keep it small so I can keep meeting all the bands when I go to the shows and talk to people after the
Absolutely.
shows. And the shows are
Yep.
inexpensive and I can go to lots of them and I could buy,
Mhm.
instead of spending all my money on a ticket, I can buy a shirt and an album too.
Right.
And then there's, the part of me that's like, damn, these guys really deserve a bigger audience. And I truly believe that, or
Yeah.
I wouldn't be doing this if I didn't.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm in the same boat as you.
Yeah, from a musician standpoint,
and I saw the
tell me from a musician standpoint how that affects you,
well, I mean, seriously. So I drove up into the city last weekend. You probably saw my post about it.
Yeah.
I saw my friend's Black Sunrise. I'm wearing their shirt.
Woo!
Local guys just landed an Obsessed gig.
Oh,
so
yeah,
that's cool.
That's so cool.
So they opened up for Cadabra.
Yeah. Great
Hippie
show.
Death
Great
Cult.
show. Great show.
In Bongzilla. I paid $24
Dude, I know.
for the ticket.
I spent $20 in Denver at the door, and we had Lord Velvet open.
Yeah.
So,
and it's like, man, this is pretty cool.
Yep.
This is pretty cool. And I could sit down, and walk up to the stage or go grab a drink.
Yep.
I don't know, man. And afford shirt. I bought a shirt from Cadabra. I'm sorry, Cadabra. Hippie Death Cult. I bought a long sleeve and I bought a short sleeve.
Right on.
I didn't buy the tie dye that you.
I bought that tie dye, man. I was like, oh, working in the dispensary is like, oh, I gotta bring this in there. They'll be so shocked to see me in something other than a black T-shirt.
Something with a black metal shirt.
They're like, what are you wearing? Pretty funny though. Yeah, man, I agree with that. It's a tough position. I don't think there's really an easy answer for that position. I also don't think that there's necessarily I don't think necessarily we're going to have much to do with that answer because things tend to cycle and this could become very popular overnight with the right song and the right band. You have Ripple had a couple albums that are being considered for Grammy nominations. It's insane. So
how cool is that?
Yeah, man. So I appreciate that you guys are just out there making great music because you love to do that. Speaking of great music, man, I know you wrote a review for a band that's having an album drop on Friday the 13th.
Man.
And so, you know what? I'm going to talk to LungBurner later today, so I'm super excited.
Good.
So tell me what you think about LungBurner and their new album. I'm excited to hear your perception.
Yeah, I think they need to stop writing such great songs and leave some riffs for the rest of us.
Man, they are heavy and good. I only had a chance to listen to the new album once through. It was really hard to eat with my mouth hanging open.
To see, and I didn't do a song by song review. When I do reviews for the Clean and Sober Stoner when I feel like it. Scott's been really cool with me.
He's the best. Scott's a great guy.
He really is.
And hey, really quick, if you're not following the Clean and Sober Stoner on YouTube and on Facebook, you got to get on that. He's really the premier guy talking about this genre. We love Scott. We'd be nowhere without him. So definitely check Scott out if you haven't. Just go ahead. Sorry, Colin.
Yeah. So I did the Embers review at the beginning of the year. I think Rob Hammer.
Yeah.
Great guy. Rob's great, man. I'll scroll and he keeps dropping these songs. And I'm like, well, fuck, Rob drops it.
He's
so
one
it's
of my
be
main
good.
sources. Yeah.
I clicked on it and I was like, man, this is pretty good. And I took the deep dive down the whole album. And I was like, Jesus Christ, man. And over and over. And in my article, to me, they remind me a lot of the very tail end of Celtic Frost going into Triptychon. What's Triptychon right now? I'm not sure if you follow that thing or not, but
no, that's more metal than I can claim to be, but that's stuff that I really
right. So if you dig, exactly. If you dig the LungBurner, go listen to Monotheist, Celtic Frost Monotheist. It's amazing. The lyrics, those guys got so mature right at the end.
Excellent.
Very, very, excellent esoteric Enlightenment period Crowley, like Aleister Crowley authentic type material. You know, it's spooky but super good, super
Okay,
good.
yeah,
So, yeah.
like coming from Denver, the Chicago scene is like mind-bogglingly huge. Like, I mean, when you just casually mention things like that, it's like, oh my god, just living in that region. Do you think that's how's that influenced your band? Like, what's the heavy scene like in Chicago?
Man, well, you can find heavy anywhere,
Yeah,
but there's there's so much metal, and it's like so. I don't even know every genre of metal, you know.
no, yeah,
Um, like I mentioned earlier that Adam, the drummer, and I play in a cover band. We play in this '80s cover band, and our bass player is actually the guitar player in November's Doom. And November's Doom is like a incredibly popular underground melodic metal band. They
okay,
do world tours, cruises,
awesome,
the whole bit. Yeah, yeah, they're amazing. And Larry, the bass player, is man. That guy is a knowledge of metal. He would be more apt to ask about all that stuff. But as
excellent.
far as the Chicago area, man, it's like there's metal clubs everywhere. I mean, Reggie's is like ground zero,
Right,
and
yeah, even I'm
literally,
aware of that. So sure,
yeah, yeah. Reggie's is. I mean, if there's no traffic, I could leave here in Northwest Indiana and be there in about 35 minutes.
man.
It's crazy.
Cool. How often do you
Yeah.
guys think you have a good stoner rock type doom show in Chicago? More than once a week?
Um. See, that depends. I would say on average, no, but I think it's becoming more popular. I'm starting to get more like follows, you
Yeah.
know, Chicago Stoner Doom, and it's like, oh, okay, so they're all coming out of the woodwork. And Black Sunrise, these guys, Adam, the bass player, I believe that Adam, the bass player, formed this region Doom Facebook thing, and a lot of people are jumping on it. So these guys in the area. So,
What do you?
but we're in a cool part. You know, we're the southern tip of Lake Michigan. So if I drive north and take a left, I'm in Chicago in in a half an hour.
Okay,
If I make a right around the lake, I'm in Southwest Michigan in 45 minutes.
that's good.
So these guys from Bonehawk,
Yeah.
in Kalamazoo. They come down and play here. We got Choke Setter out in LaPorte, Indiana. We're talking with them about doing a show, but that's on the down and
Well,
low.
we won't talk about it.
And Choke Setter are great. Yeah, we totally won't talk about it. Um, yeah, man, there's a lot of great bands around here.
But what?
But this RippleFest thing has got so many crazy fucking bands coming through. Like one day after, like Sunday, Temple of the Fuzzwitch, Astronaut, uh, Crop, and
It's
then it's
insane.
and then it's like Dozer, Howling Giant, High Desert Queen,
Friday's
and the
crazy
next day
too.
it's like everything, like 3-4 days in a row. It's just like all these bands are hitting Reggie's, and it's like, oh my god, stop, you know.
Right. We have it, Colin. Here we go. Here's the controversial part of the show. All right,
All right, let's do this.
it's not that controversial, but tell me like the three bands you're looking forward to most seeing at RippleFest.
Oh man, that's nice question. You got me.
It's a
Um,
tough one, man.
I know. Because there's a lot of US bands that I can catch on tour. So I want to see Dozer, I want to see Truck Fighters, you know.
Same. Yeah.
So it's Kal-El's playing like
I
twice,
know.
but I also dig, dig everybody. I dig Howling Giant Gozu, we did a show with them.
Those guys are
Those guys are amazing.
for
I
sure.
want to see them like once a month,
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
so
Amazing
I
bands.
haven't
I
seen
saw
High
that
Desert
tour
Queen.
too. I saw that tour too. It was great.
Oh
High
man.
Desert Queen.
So
Yep. High up on my
High Desert
list is
Queen, I want
too.
to see. Yeah, I want to see High Desert Queen. I want to see Blue Heron.
Yeah.
I want to see. was it
So
Formula 400 too?
so
And
Formula.
you're
So
killing me with this.
go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Formula 400.
Yeah, they do them. I use their
Yeah,
music for my little show here. I love those
yeah,
guys. I can't wait to meet them.
yeah,
Baracho, I really love those dudes. They're great dudes, and like Mario and I have talked before, and he's a super awesome dude. So I'm looking forward to talking to him again,
yeah,
and the other
yeah.
guys. They put
Fossil
out such
Jetson. I want to see.
so
I
dude, seeing them last January was oh man. Do you guys got to make it out to Planet Desert Rock in
Oh,
January?
I have to. I
You do.
absolutely have to. I love John.
He's the
John
best.
has been instrumental. Like John is like
He loves your
the
band.
cornerstone
Yeah.
of why I'm talking to you right now.
Oh, that's cool.
Legit.
So,
Yeah,
they were seriously not far off for me either. That show last
right.
January was kind of a
He just
life-changing event.
he put us out there, and we used that for marketing, and just that's what you do, right?
Yeah.
You get a mention, you push that, you shove that down everybody's throat.
Well, you know what?
But
Hey,
just going.
sorry to interrupt, but Colin, you guys do an amazing job on social media of interacting with your fans. And I think that really has an effect on our community because it's so small to begin with.
Right.
And that's important to your band, it seems like. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt your point before,
it's a whole different monster. I come from the days of cutting out letters and running stuff over a Xerox machine and going to the mall and the theater and putting our stuff on the windshields.
Sure.
We're playing at the local arcade.
Yeah.
You come from the punk rock world. You guys have to do the same thing.
Sure, absolutely.
So now this is our copy machine. Our phone. We have the apps. We have, I make movies. That what you're going to play at some point.
Yeah,
I made that on my phone.
We're going to talk about. I am going to show. Man, this will probably be a great time to do it. Colin sent me an excellent video. It's RippleFest related, and has some. Well, why don't you just introduce it? We'll do it the old. You introduce your clip, and then I'll show.
Sure.
We'll do the kid doing the wheelchair down the hill or something. That'll call.
Yeah. So we're gonna play. I made a clip this morning. On the special limited edition merch that the band Shadow of Jupiter will be having at RippleFest.
Yeah.
It would help us out greatly if you shopped at our little merch store.
You guys
come say hi at the table if you're there.
Definitely support.
But we want to do something special. It's a special festival for us. We're not on the road every day. So we were able to make special t-shirts. We were able to make special posters. We were able to make special stickers, and it coincided in time to where we were able to have a special vinyl, small 7-inch vinyl, 33 1/3 speed.
Cool. I'm showing it to you right here. My copy's right here. We're going to Photoshop that in later.
Right
Colin,
on.
we're going to show your video right now. So here it is. Back, man. Seriously, awesome. I'm glad there's going to be one part of this video presentation that looks super professional, and it's your video for sure. So thanks for pumping up the quality here, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
But hey, you guys, seriously, you listening? It's critical that you support these local bands on this scene. Spotify is a marketing tool for these bands. It is not a revenue stream. So buy a shirt or buy an album if you like their stuff. Buy their stuff on Bandcamp, even if it's a digital copy. It helps these guys
Yeah,
get back in the studio and record more of the great music that we love.
that's
So,
where exactly where it's going.
so just go see their shows when you can. I know not everybody can make it out to RippleFest, but when bands from the stoner rock scene come through your town, make a point of going out and buying a ticket and going and checking them out and telling them that you love them. So I think that's super important that we do that as a community. So, Colin, is
Yeah,
there?
thanks for
Yeah, thanks for your video. I
yeah,
appreciate that, man.
yeah, I appreciate that. I mean, it's it's kind of becoming not necessarily a joke, but everybody touring in bands nowadays are traveling T-shirt salesmen
Yeah,
with a soundtrack.
yeah. No,
They're
I
not
know it's
making
a
money
meme,
off
but it's
the
yeah.
yeah,
No,
not the streaming.
Spotify is how we find you, and hopefully that
Mhm.
creates an interest enough to get us out to shows and
Right.
hey, if you really like it, man, put it on, buy that shit on Bandcamp. you know. So
Yeah, and especially on Bandcamp Fridays when they don't even take a cut.
that's the
That's
best.
even better. That's even better.
Keep that in mind. It's
But
the first
regardless,
Friday of every month. Hey, Colin, what anything you want to say in closing? I mean, buddy, I
wow.
can't wait to see you in RippleFest.
Oh
Man,
man,
I
I'm looking
can't wait
forward
to
to
hear this the 7-inch bud. I know it's going to be fantastic.
it.
Um,
Yeah, yeah,
anything last word? Not last words. God, that sounds. Oh, hey, speaking
yeah.
of last words, Colin.
Right?
We're going to take a couple of minutes, and we're not about to wrap this up.
We're not
Colin,
done yet,
so
huh?
hey, buddy, about a year ago, you almost spoke your last words.
Right.
You had the Widowmaker
Yes,
situation, heart attack.
I did.
Um,
I did.
tell me, Colin. I know it's like near death experience has got to be obviously life changing for anybody. Tell me how it affected you personally, and then how it affected your approach to music.
Wow. Great question. Yeah, I had a heart attack a year ago today, and that wound up. Well, the result of that was me getting triple bypass surgery, and so coming back from that, it's hard. I can't imagine being an older person going through what
Yeah.
I went through and coming back. Um, so there was a
Was
lot
it
of
harder, Colin, physically or mentally to come back from that?
a little of both, but I got to tell you, what a lot of people don't realize is that when you have a heart event like that, a heart attack, it triggers some sort of depression.
No, I can
It really
imagine.
does. Yeah. There are a lot of people. I'm on this like heart attack open heart surgery page, and it's
Oh,
just so many people are just going through this depression. It's broken heart. Your heart was broken, and a lot of people think that they can't come back, or just something. It just triggers some chemical thing in your head saying, I'm fucked up in the head right now. Let's,
yeah. No, that's
what can I do
understandable.
about it? Yeah. So I had some of that, but I was really, really anxious to get back playing my guitar. It was weird because, like I said, we just recently celebrated the 1 year
Yeah.
anniversary of the release of our album, and I'm the
Boom,
social media
boom,
guy.
bud. Right? Like
And I got
release
married,
album, get married, and
and then
then
I had a heart attack 10 days after I got married. And I'm juggling like, oh my god, I'm letting my wife down, or why'd she marry this old guy? And oh man, I really wish I could post on social media right now to try and get the album more listens, and everybody's rallying around me like, don't think about that shit. Just get through this, get home, and we'll deal with it. And that's what I did, you
yeah.
know.
Well, you
And
look fantastic, man. Like
well, thanks,
I
man. I
would
feel good.
never.
I put on some weight because I was smoking 2 packs a day. I was doing Marlboro Reds. 2 packs, man. So yeah, I had a heart attack. That's no shit. So
Well, but so I'm assuming
so I
you've
put on
quit
some weight
smoking.
since I don't smoke anymore. Yeah,
Yeah, and put on some weight. That seems like a reasonable
yeah,
trade-off.
but whatever. I'll drop it. I'll get there. I'll
Yeah,
get
well,
there.
man, one thing at a time, bud.
Yeah.
So as far as how did it change your guitar playing style or your songwriting style, or maybe maybe the subjects that you wanted to sing about, did that change at all?
Well, I am the most horrific lyric writer, so I don't even
So that's
write
not your part.
songs. But I got to tell you, I do have a whole bunch of riffs and really melodic instrumental stuff that I recorded in recovery.
Yeah.
That I would like to do. It's Shadow Jupiter, man. We're just, all you're hearing is like, right now you're hearing a blues based,
Boom, punch you in
Chicago.
the face. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But when you go to RippleFest, you're gonna love a new song it's not on the record that's being released tomorrow.
Okay.
It's long. It's very. It's got the whole thing.
I'll dig it.
You'll know what I'm saying.
All
It's
right,
got
right
a
on,
thing.
man.
All right. Very heavy, shoegazy, vibey.
I'll dig it.
You will
dig
it.
That's my jam.
Yeah, mine too.
Right on, man. Well, hey, Colin.
So yeah,
I really appreciate you taking the time to sit down and talk, man. I can't wait to meet you in person. Like, it's a week away, bud. It's like in a week.
I'm super stoked.
Yeah,
super stoked.
Right on, man. Any last things that you want to say?
Listen, man, thank you, everybody who's been supporting us or even just checking us out. Check out our new release on Duneland Records. Josh is a great friend of ours. He put the money up to put this stuff on vinyl. We're not contracted to him as a record company. So you record companies, you want Shadow of Jupiter, you give me a call. Until then, you listen to Shadow of Jupiter on Duneland Records, and it's going to be streaming on all platforms starting tomorrow.
Heck yeah, man.
And I will see you at RippleFest.
Yeah, bud. Cool. Hey, you know what? When I get the album, I'll be throwing something up, and we'll be pushing that out to people, buddy. People need to hear you guys. See you at RippleFest, my man. If you need anything in the meantime, let me know, bud. We'll get this published as quickly as possible, Colin. But have a great day, man. Wait, you're in Chicago. You should go have a glizzy. You should have a glizzy. I know what that is now.
Oh, man. Yeah. I haven't heard anybody call hot dogs glizzies in Chicago yet.
All right, man.
The form of band called Thin Glizzy or something.
Some Chicago guy probably just set me up for that shit.
Yeah.
Colin, you have a great day, man. We'll talk to you soon. All right, buddy. All right, my man. All right. Peace to you too, my man. All right. See you, Colin.
Yeah.